Okay, this is Geeking Out, and this is the week number 3 or 4 of fall TV. It's October 14th. That's all you need to know. So we're going to talk about the three shows that we like to talk about, which is Flash, Arrow, and Agents of Shield. And Jesse, you took the time to actually put together notes this week. So why don't you lead us through and start us off with something?
Okay, I want to start um, with Flash just because so much happened.
Oh my God, so many things happened.
Like every character had major things happen this week.
Pretty accurate. So where do you want to start?
Oh, how about the last few seconds with Harrison Wells?
I know, right? In the alternate universe. So
Yeah,
I get okay. Spoilers are on all over the place, of course, because we're talking about the shows and what happened in them. To recap a little bit, in case you haven't seen it or you're curious as to what we're talking about, the singularity caused a number of breaches in and around
it caused
Central
52 breaches.
52, which I feel like is a miss, and this is why I feel like this is a miss. They're already on one of the Earths, so they should have had 51.
Okay.
So, just saying, like, although
Yeah, but still, 52 is the number.
it's a cute nod to the new 52, or the 52 different universes, the 52 different worlds in the multiverse. So that is what's going on, and that's why we're talking about Harrison Wells showing up in an alternate, what I would think of as Earth 2 version
Yes.
of Star Labs, which is perfectly fine, and he can walk and stuff. It's crazy. That was crazy.
Yeah.
So what do you think's going to happen now?
Even though they kind of set him up to possibly be evil, like to actually be Thawne, I think it actually is the real Harrison Wells.
Yeah, sure. You mean the one?
Like the original Harrison Wells.
But I thought he was dead.
Well, at a different time in Earth 2. Different timeline.
Yeah, sure, I can buy that, no problem. And I don't think he's Zoom.
No, I don't. I actually know he's not. But unless they did some major casting misdirecting.
Well, they're not telling us who Zoom is. They're not even talking about who Zoom is.
I thought they announced who was cast as Zoom.
They just say that he is the voice of Zoom. That's who that is. Okay. I actually think that Zoom is that version of that Earth's Barry.
That makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Because I feel like that's
an interesting story.
Yeah. So Zoom is like he's got we saw his costume finally. He is a black version, like a black costume version of the Flash. He's even got the symbol on his chest. That's the Flash's symbol, but it's all black. It's really cool looking.
Yeah.
So that's what we saw. What else? Where do you want to go next?
How about Iris's mother? She shows up.
That was shocking. I have no idea
how she'll play 5 seconds. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, they never did say she was dead. She just wasn't there.
Yeah, we never really knew why she walked out. So that should be an interesting little story line that plays out this season, or for part of the season.
Dr. Stein faints, has a stroke, has a heart attack in the last few seconds of the episode.
That freaked me out too. I think that has something to do with Firestorm, like the fact that he can't merge with his other half, or maybe something happened to his other half.
I think they might to carry out on that idea to find Ronnie, because Ronnie's got to be in Earth 2 somewhere. I can't imagine they just kill off his character.
Me neither. Well, I mean, yeah, they wouldn't just kill off the character. Yeah, I mean, they can bring him back for an episode here and an episode there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he can't. There's reasons why he can't be full cast, but they could bring him back.
Yeah. So that's going on. So yeah, Stein faints. That's problematic. It happens near the end of the episode.
Mm-hmm. Cisco's becoming Vibe.
Yeah, it's great. So the way that his powers. You want to talk? Did you get a feel for how his powers are working?
Yeah, it seems like when he touches materials from alternate Earths, he gets to see a little glimpse of what that material or matter has done in the past. He's having visions of what's happened. but
Yep,
always in
that
relation
seems
to
to
Earth
be.
too.
Yeah, I'm not really too up to date on how Vibe's power works. I will look that up though
Yeah,
for the future. So
I
I
know
mean,
he
just to
does
see
have
if
vision powers.
I, I just don't know exactly how his power set works and if they're keeping close to
Yeah.
it or what they're doing with it. So that's going on right now. Yeah, that's it's been
Yeah.
fascinating so far. Oh, what else we got? What's the next thing on
Um,
the list?
Flash has
Oh,
a super weapon.
lightning. He can throw lightning?
Yeah. Yeah, he learned how to
I
throw
didn't know he could.
lightning in this episode. Jake Carrick taught him
I
how.
didn't. Yeah, I didn't actually know he knew how to do that. Like at
Yeah.
all. It's interesting.
I mean, I guess it
So
makes
that's
sense,
going on.
especially in a visual medium like and not that comic books aren't visual, obviously, but in TV, it's just constant. There's more TV than there is comic books per year.
Yeah. So the way that it works is he runs really fast to build up a bunch of static electricity, I guess, or something
Hmm.
like that, and then he can discharge that through his hand in like a lightning bolt. And that's how he takes out the Sand Demon, who was the villain of the week this week.
Yeah.
Which means I like that they're still sticking with the villain of the week thing, which makes me happy. And they're
Yeah.
using they're using all sorts of people from the Rogues Gallery, which I approve of too.
Yeah, because there's a really good rogues gallery in DC.
By the way, if anybody is wondering like, what the hell is a Sand Demon? Like, he's basically the Sandman for the DC universe.
Um,
There's that. There was a
they
casual
introduced.
Arrow reference.
Yes, that was fun.
Yeah, the
Um,
from the last scene from last week's episode of Arrow.
yeah. Um, oh, and then they introduced the new character, Patty, who
Yeah, she's
I did
from the
not care
comics.
for. I did not
I love
care for her
her.
portrayal. No?
Oh,
Yeah,
she's
you
lovely.
loved her?
Yeah, because
I,
she was. Go ahead.
no, I think I'm going to like her, but in this episode, I didn't like her.
So her happy bubbliness, that thing on the top, it felt so forced and fake
Oh,
because she's
yeah.
really pissed
Yeah.
off. Well, that's because she's really
Yeah,
angry.
that's
So
not why I
that
didn't
I
like
feel
her.
ah. Oh,
Well,
why didn't you like her?
you talk about why you like her first.
Well, that's why. It's like I thought the actress pulled it off well. I'm like,
Oh, yeah, no, she's a great actress. I love that.
she's way too happy and she's way too over the top and she's way too wanting to be a part of this thing, but she has like this very, very
Hmm.
sort of dark ulterior motive. Like, yeah, they
Yeah.
killed metahuman this guy who became a metahuman killed my dad and it's not fair. I Good people should get superpowers, not anybody. And there was even that like, you're not lucky. Like when she had that conversation, I'm like, that's so
Yeah.
good. So good.
Yeah, those parts I like. That's why I think I like her in the future. But when they introduce her, she has 3 degrees, like 3 major degrees that normal people take 5 years to get one of them. And she's like top of her marksmanship, and it's like it almost felt Mary Sue. Like
It, it
this girl could do no wrong.
it felt like she was highly driven.
Yeah, like just
Yeah,
impossibly so.
it's
Very,
funny.
very few people in her age group can possibly have 3 bachelor degrees.
Yeah, I
Very, very
suppose.
small percentage could physically do it.
I
Not
mean, we're talking.
intellectually, but
I mean, we are talking about the same kind of universe where Batman exists, and he's the
that's
smartest
true.
man on the face of the planet. And
That's
then of
true.
course, like you say, it's a little Mary Sue, but the first meaningful thing that happens to her in the show is that she gets kidnapped.
It's true. That's also true. That's why I don't like think she's the worst thing that ever happened to Flash. But I don't know. I just didn't fall in love with her.
No, that's fair. I could see that. I just thought she was lovely. I am looking. I look forward. Well, there's another thing too. When her and Barry have that interaction outside of the two-way glass, and they sort of
Hmm.
nerd out for a second.
That was fun.
It's also the first time that I've seen the Barry Allen from last season
Yeah.
because he doesn't trust anybody right now, and that's like, and
No.
he's starting to come around a little bit, but that was the first time I saw the Barry Allen from last season, which was nice.
Yeah. Yeah, and we
Oh
don't get to see his nerdy side very often.
no, not really, because he's too busy being a superhero.
Yeah.
So you got Iris is. I think according to this, you think she is better than she
Oh,
was last year.
yeah, I think so. She hasn't had that many scenes this year, but of the scenes she has had, she hasn't been useless. She's more of like Barry's counselor or
Hmm.
psychiatrist, but that's far more interesting than her running around pretending to be a journalist in the first half of the season, or actually being a journalist but not doing it very well.
Yeah, yeah, right. uh, Jay
So,
Garrick shows up in this episode too.
yes.
I
And that's more of your
actually,
thing. I know very little.
yeah, I'm not like I don't know much about Jay Garrick as the Flash. I mean, they did a fine job introducing him and explaining
Hmm.
him. And I like the part where like we don't trust this guy, we don't trust this guy, and the entire time I was like, why don't you just give him the hat? I'm like, why don't you just tell him about the hat? Somebody just say something about the hat. And then of course at
Yeah.
the very end, they finally are like, he talks about his hat, and they're like, you mean
Hmm.
like the like a metal thing with wings on it? It's like, yeah, it's my hat. Like you just told us that to begin with. I'm like, well, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, that would have been much more helpful. The one that he got from his father who fought in the War of the Americas. I feel like
Yeah,
that's going to come back.
yeah, it should. That was, I think that's an Earth 2 thing where there was, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that happened. Uh, and you feel that he'll probably step in for Stein if Stein doesn't come back next week or until
Well,
Legends of Tomorrow.
yeah. I mean, so there's three mentor characters now. There's Wells, even though he's not around, he's still full cast. There's Stein, who has to eventually go off and be in charge of Legends of Tomorrow. And now there's Jay Garrick.
I don't like. I get that Stein sort of was fulfilling a mentorish type role, but I don't know if anybody is. I think that if that is a role that needs to be filled in the
Mm-hmm.
show, I think it is now rotating
Yeah.
as the different people are trying to deal with their stuff because it's not just
Yeah.
Barry dealing with his powers now; it's also uh, Cisco dealing with his
Cisco.
powers and
And soon it's going to be Caitlin as well.
supposedly, yeah.
Yeah, no,
Assuming
that's happening.
assuming we're
Maybe
not going
not
to
this
pull in.
season.
Well, I mean, assuming we're not going to pull in a Caitlyn from another Earth to be the Killer Frost
No,
Caitlyn.
man, that's true. That's true too.
I mean, they're going to play with that, I think, a lot
Yeah,
because they can, right? Like that's also going to save them money. They'll just have the same actor portray
playing
two different
multiple.
roles. Yeah.
There's talk about on top of there being crossovers between Earth One, Earth Two, they're going to play with Arrow versus Flash.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Basically, what affects Flash's world affects Arrow's world, and that's why I think they included that couple seconds of the Arrow to remind everyone this is the same world and it's happening in real time. So when bad things happen to Flash, Star City is only a couple miles down the road.
It'll ripple effect. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like what the it's supposed to be Chicago and Los Angeles, more
Is
or
it? I have
less.
no idea.
I think
Well,
so. I
Chicago and Los Angeles are quite far away from each other.
Well, yeah, but not in the scheme of the world.
I mean, in the scheme of of how far away Central and Star City are from each other, I don't think they're the same
Hmm.
distance.
Maybe
I'm
I.
not.
Regardless, when you open up a singularity that goes to a different world, it might affect both Chicago and
It
Los
might.
Angeles. It would be fair to say it would affect both New York and Los Angeles. I think that's fair.
Have they even really mentioned the singularity in Arrow, though? I don't think they have.
Not yet. I think it's a matter
Yeah.
of time.
So, Caitlyn is interesting to me so far this season because, like you mentioned, that Ronnie's probably somewhere on Earth too, and which I kind
Probably.
of hope that's a real thing because I don't know if the Jay Garrett Flash character is like going to be on the show or for how long he's going to be on the show, but
Yeah,
she is
probably not
obviously into
long.
him. Yeah,
Yeah.
she is obviously into him. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when Ronnie does show up again, as she's
Yeah,
trying
he's
to
going to
like as you're.
return.
That would be good.
Yeah,
Which
worst possible moment. She'll be
of
back.
course,
He'll be back.
of course. Well, that's Flash. I'm looking to see what happens with Wells.
Yeah.
I think that's the most interesting thing that I saw. I'm like, I knew
Yeah.
Harrison Wells. I mean, we knew Harrison Wells was going to be on the show this year. We didn't know how, and we had
Mm-hmm.
guesses and things like that, but now we know. So, and
Yeah.
what if there's more than one version of Harrison Wells? That'll be fascinating.
Yeah, because there could be because of how many instances there are in just Earth 1.
Mm-hmm. All right, so moving on. Let's. I guess we should talk about Shield next, huh?
Yes, let's talk about Shield.
Shield was okay. I think my favorite part about Shield was Hunter and May putting things together, and then
they did very good.
Yes, and Simmons with what she's dealing with.
Yeah, that I want to see more of Simmons. I feel like she was an underused character last year, her and Fitz.
Mm-hmm. Well, I thought Fitz wasn't underused. I thought Fitz's recovery was exceptionally interesting.
Yeah,
like
that's true. That's true. Simmons especially, though, was just... Other than her short stint at Hydra, she just wasn't there.
Yeah, that was the most interesting part about her all last season. Yeah. So May and Hunter are trying to get into Hydra because they want to work their way up and go kill Ward.
Mm-hmm.
And the way to do that is Hunter they have illegal weapons that they're going to try to use to sell to some people in Hydra to get in. And Hunter's got a buddy who ends up not being his buddy, and they get into a fight. And Hunter gets the shit kicked out of him, Fight Club style.
That was pretty rough.
He was hilarious. I was like, oh my god, especially the jokes in the middle of it. Like, are you tired yet? Because he's like, my strategy is, because May's like, I could win this fight, no problem. Can you? He's like, I'll just keep getting hit until he gets tired. So in the middle of the fight, he's like, are you tired yet? He's like, no.
Yeah. And then during all of this, in the middle, May just beats up 3 men just in 30 seconds, if that?
Less than that. It was like
10,
maybe 5.
Yeah, in the middle of Hunter's fight scene, just flashes over to her.
Mm-hmm. So Simmons, she's back from that other world that she was stuck in for 6 months, which I'm wondering, what did she eat while she was there?
Yeah,
that was the
how
first
she
thing that popped
survived?
into my mind. Yeah.
I think they're going to go more into that.
So her senses are super heightened too. So everything is loud and everything is bright because she was in a very dark place and it was rough on her.
Yeah.
And then at the very end of the episode, she's like, "I need to go back," and we're like, "What? What does she need to go back for?" Jerks.
Should be interesting.
Like that to us. But they'll answer that question next episode probably because they're
probably they've been answering very quickly, answering questions.
Perfectly fine with me.
Yeah.
So I forget her name, but the woman that is in charge of the ATCU and
Rosalind
and
is her
Coulson.
first name. Rosalind is the first name.
Rosalind Coulson seem to be having a thing going on because they have a lot of similar interests and aims and goals.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sword and Shield,
maybe it seems to be right. But the Inhumans thing, the angle, I don't know how Daisy is okay at all with Coulson after what he did. Although I guess he didn't.
I don't think she is.
Yeah, probably not. So Lincoln, there's a manhunt for Lincoln. Lincoln can use electricity. He's got that he's got that particular Inhuman. He's also a doctor, and he wants nothing to do with Shield, even though they want him to come in so they can protect him because he's being hunted. So the ATCU is all over him, and he just can't catch a break. People who have helped him with his alcoholism, because apparently he was an alcoholic, are turning on him, and there's nothing good is going for him at all. In fact, that was one of the things you mentioned. He just can't catch a break.
No, every time this season he shows up, he's getting screwed.
Yeah. Even when he's like, "Come please help me," he gets screwed.
Yeah. Yep.
Because Rosalind's like, "Well, you can give me Lincoln or I can take Daisy." And then after Lincoln escapes from that situation, he's like, "Well, I'm taking Daisy." And Coulson's like, "Wait. I'll work with you if you don't take Daisy." Which Coulson is irrationally protective of Daisy, and I don't quite understand it.
I think there's supposed to be a father-daughter relationship there.
You think so?
Yeah. It's been implied in the past, a lot last season with Daisy's real father, that he's kind of like a stand-in father for her. And to a certain extent, May was her like a stand-in mother.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. He like, and everybody says it too, like, right? Like, I just feel like it's almost to the point of irrational. Like, he is doing things that are
Oh,
bad for
it's
the
completely irrational.
yeah, bad for the organization
Yeah.
for to protect her.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a little confused by it, I guess, a little bit. I hope they
Yeah.
answer that question a little bit more in the future.
Yeah, I hope
Like,
so too.
I get why Daisy slash Sky. I'm talking about Sky, everybody. I get why Daisy wants to protect Inhumans because she is an Inhuman and she wants to do better than her mom did.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause her mom screwed everybody pretty much.
Yeah.
So I get it. Like, I understand. Like,
Yeah.
and she's also in love with Lincoln. Like, and she has been since
Mm-hmm.
last season. So that makes perfect sense too. And they kiss and it's cute.
Mm-hmm.
Then she's like, "I'll protect you," and then then
And
Shield
then
turns
last
on her. Like,
second.
come on,
Yeah.
what is going on? I didn't actually expect that. I was a little surprised. I mean,
Yeah.
once it started happening, that's not where I expected them to go with the story. I figured Lincoln would now be part of the team.
Mm-hmm. He eventually will be, but I guess they're going to take the long way around that one.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah.
So
My favorite moment of that episode. Why in the world did they subtitle Hunter's scene?
I thought it was a joke, right? Because
Okay.
May
I
was
hope
like,
it was just a joke.
yeah, because May's like, I can barely understand it when they're not drunk, and then they got drunk because
Mm-hmm.
they didn't slur their words nearly enough
No.
for it to be unintelligible.
Yeah. I kind of took the route that a lot of people complain that when there's British characters on TV or Australian characters, in Hunter's case, it's impossible to understand what they're saying. People who don't watch as much Doctor Who and Sherlock as us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe
So,
that's true.
and ABC's had trouble with Gold on Once Upon a Time. He's got
Ah,
complaints.
I can see
So,
that.
but to me, they just weren't even that bad.
They
Hunter and
weren't.
his friend. His friend.
I understood them completely, even without
Yeah,
the subtitles.
yeah. So as like, I don't know. That was just. I hope you're right that it was just a joke on
I thought it
May
was just a
to do
joke.
with May. I
Yeah.
hope so too.
All right. It looks like Bobby's knee is getting better. That's good because I like watching her beat the ever living love out of people. That's always enjoyable for me.
Yeah.
And that's Shield. I guess Lash will be in next week. That's the big monster thing that was ripping people's chests out and humans' chests open. So
Yeah,
we'll
we get
find out
answers
more
about
about him.
that.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that's Shield. Do you have anything else to say about Shield?
No, not really.
All right, then let's move on to our last, at least show that we want to talk about for the evening. Arrow. Arrow
Yes.
was fantastic today.
Yes, it was.
Oh
Usually
my
is.
god, it usually is, but I mean, so it's supernatural season. Like, they're just doing all sorts of
Mm-hmm.
magic type stuff. But they did a thing that I didn't expect. They brought anarchy into the show, and I don't read like spoilers and stuff like that, so I had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
So I forget
I don't know
the
what anarchy is.
okay. So Lonnie Meechin. He's the character that is there. His fingertips are all messed up,
Yeah.
so it's hard to identify him. He is Anarchy. Anarchy is
Okay.
normally a Batman villain, which is, I mean, obviously Arrow is sort of, yeah, they're almost it's like, this is the Batman show
Yeah.
that we want to make, but we're too scared to say we're gonna make.
Mm-hmm. We're
But
not legally allowed to say, but yeah.
yeah, Anarchy is in the comics. He was a exceptionally intelligent child, like a prodigy, who used technology
Mm-hmm.
and to fight, and he had some very drastic socio-political thoughts, and that's sort of what made him fairly popular for periods of time in the comic world. And
Mm-hmm.
here he's got a little bit of that going on. He's got the shock stick that he uses, and got he's got that doctrine that he believes in. But when you match him up against Damien Dark, he is just sort of a child because Damien Dark is
Yeah.
fantastic, and every time he's on screen, it's just amazing to watch.
Yeah. Damien's pretty good.
Yeah,
We get to see the Lazarus Pit next week with
oh
Sarah and
yes,
Thea. Like
It's gonna be
no punches held
interesting.
back of the Lazarus pit.
Yeah, they didn't even beat around the bush with that at all. I mean,
No.
let's talk about the end of the show. They dug
Yeah,
up
digging
her.
up Sarah.
Not only did they dig her up, but they opened the coffin and showed her desiccated body. I was like,
Yeah, that
whoa,
was a little odd.
okay, I'm
When
okay
they
with
went to
it.
open
I got no
it,
problem.
yeah, when they went to open it, I kind of assumed that she wasn't going to be in there because
No,
it's
she
just
was
that
there.
sort of show. Did she? When she
Yeah.
was there?
Huh? What?
No. Um, Computer's making noises.
Oh, okay. So yeah,
Sorry.
no, it's fine. They dug her up. I was shocked, and apparently, Speedy didn't really know that didn't really know very until more recently that they dumped her in a Lazarus pit, or what the Lazarus pit would do to her, the
Yeah.
side
Yeah.
effects.
Well, it kind of makes sense. Oliver's dead set on protecting her
Yeah,
at
but
all costs.
Oliver wants to be different now. He wants to be a different
Yeah.
man. He wants to do things differently.
And he's going to do
Uh,
it by becoming mayor.
yes, which I'm okay with that. I mean, he
Oh,
could be
I'm okay with it
CEO.
too.
Yeah, I mean, it's easier to be a political figure than it is to be the CEO of a company.
Yeah, and he's also done a lot of growing up since he was the CEO.
Yeah, I forget who. So Felicity, she's the CEO of Palmer Tech.
Hmm.
So being the CEO of Palmer Tech, Felicity has decided that she's not going to fire anybody, and I forget the
Hmm.
black gentleman's name, who
I
is
don't remember either.
quite brilliant and gay, which is, I mean, I like how they're just doing that now. They just insert these kind of characters.
Hmm.
They don't even question it. They just kind of do it. I mean, it fits right in. It doesn't feel
Hmm.
forced or anything. It's just there because that's just how life is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, and he's like, we're gonna come up, and Felicity's like, we're gonna come up with something brilliant that will revolutionize the tech world, and he's like, you don't have a plan, do you? She's like, no, I don't, but I bet you do. And they do, and she talks the board down, and it's like they got 6 months till the next board
Given the
meeting.
time, yeah. Given the time frame, they're going to come up with something brilliant because that's who they are, and they're going to have Ray Palmer present it.
That seems about right, and it'll be right at the end of the season
Yes.
because that's 6 months from now. Well, not 6 months.
Yeah.
It'll be May, April-ish.
Yeah, they've been doing weird time stuff. It might be the mid-season,
Maybe.
or it could be
Uh,
the end of the season.
so,
Either way.
so yeah. So I mean, we knew Hive with Damien Dark, and the ghosts are part of Hive, but
Hmm.
Dig finally revealed to somebody on the team that Hive killed his brother, which is Laurel.
Yeah.
I still thought the best part of this episode was when they were talking when Thea told Laurel that they put her in that they put Thea in the Lazarus pit and she came sort of back to life. And Laurel's like, "Oh, really?" I'm like, "Jen, that's I was sitting with my fiance Jen. I'm like, "Jen, that is the inciting incident." Like right there, she's like, "What are
Hmm.
you talking about?" Like they're gonna bring back Sarah. That she's just got the idea in her head. You can see it in her eyes. It's gonna
Yeah.
be fantastic. They're not
Yep.
even waiting around. And then they went and dug her
Nope,
up at the
they
end of
are
the
going
episode.
right into it.
So good. There was
That,
a good line. I don't think a mani petty. This is what Thea says. I don't think a mani petty is going to make me feel any better. Laurel's like, we're
yeah.
not going to a spa. We're going to Nanda Parbat because we're going to go
Yeah.
put Lara. We're going to go put Sarah in the Lazarus pit, and we're going to make sure they
Yeah.
find out what's wrong with you and get you fixed. I like Laurel.
Yeah.
She is like take charge
Yeah.
kind of person these days. It's wonderful.
Yeah. Yes, it's pretty good. However, that opens up the question of what is Harry Dresden Lance doing with, I can't remember his first name, but that Lance doing with Damien Dark if he's not trying to get Sarah back.
I have no idea. I got no clue.
Yeah, like what is he up to? He's
Or-
working with Arrow, he's working with Dark,
He's playing
and
both
he's
sides
supposed
against
to,
the other.
yeah.
It's a question. It's an interesting question. So there's Damien Dark, there's Anarchy, there's all sorts of characters all over the place doing things.
Mhm.
We're gonna have Nanda Parbat next week, which means we're gonna have Malcolm Merlin in the show, and
Yep.
what's her name? The Sarah's old girl flame friend,
Oh, yeah.
Nissa.
Yes, Nissa.
Yep, she'll probably be around. It should be a nice
Yeah.
hyperly packed episode of Arrow next week, and
Yeah,
then
should be fun.
maybe Dig and Oliver will fight each other because it's been a while since they punched it.
Yeah, maybe they'll like settle that finally 3 episodes later.
That would be nice. So, what else is going on in the geek
Yeah.
world then? Since that's Arrow.
Um, I don't know. I
No,
heard rumors about 2 X-Men shows, one on FX and one on Fox.
that's insane. Like that's nutty.
Yeah.
I finished the Aeronauts Windlass, by the way. That's the new Jim Butcher book that is very
Oh,
steampunkish, sort of like fantasy
I'm waiting.
steampunk.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Dave to finish.
They, one of my favorite moments in that book was, you know how everybody in steampunk has those goggles.
Hmm.
Like it's a steampunk type fixture, like the goggles. There's a real
Yeah.
reason for them to have the goggles in the Aeronauts Windlass. In that world, there's a real
Oh,
reason that
good.
those goggles exist. There's a technological reason for them. It's pretty clever.
Good.
And it is the middle of the book was a little slow. I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the book. The middle of the book is a little slow for
Mhm.
me. It's got a bit of a Renaissance feel to it, where station and manners and being polite to each other matters, especially depending on what station you're at in the spires.
Okay.
And there are airships, and they do fly around, and they're great. And it was really sad because it starts with an airship fight, and then you don't get
Hmm.
any more of that stuff until very, very close to the end of the book, which made me sad.
Yeah. We
And the
read Butcher
world,
for the action, the crazy, weird action.
I do, I in fact do, and there's some creepy stuff in there too. There's like the last third of the book is really good, so there's that. The first the first part of it, I feel like he wasn't quite there. Like he didn't quite know what he was like. He was trying to introduce characters he hadn't had to do that in a really long time. Not
Hmm.
not really. Like if you're a
Yeah.
Dresden fan, you know the Dresden characters for the most part. And maybe you get introduced to one or two new characters a book, not seven.
Not everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, and a whole new world at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm
Yeah.
looking forward. I'm looking forward to the next book. I'm excited about
Yeah.
that. There is in Butcher fashion. There's something bigger going on in the background. Except he doesn't wait
Hmm.
12 books to tell us that there is.
Hmm. Yeah. I'm. Yeah. I'm actually reading a book that you'll like.
Ooh, what is it?
It's I'm like 50, 60 years late to this party, but Caves of Steel by Isaac Asimov. He has
Yeah, I know.
inspired a lot of the science fiction and steampunk that you are interested in, like Almost Human,
Yeah,
the TV
yeah.
show
You
on
told.
Fox that you loved, clearly inspired by Daniel Oliva and Elijah Bailey and their dynamics. Daniel
Neat.
is a robot, and um, then Bailey is a human who's kind of like extremely anti-robot, but that's the culture. He's probably the most pro-robot of a culture of anti-robots.
Oh, okay.
So that part's a tiny bit different, but a lot of the tropes that we take for granted
Hmm.
originated in Caves of Steel.
Ah,
So
I have a question for you. Have you been watching
sure.
Heroes Reborn?
Yes, I have.
So, what did you think of the episode? Was it three? Episode three? Because maybe it was four.
Yeah.
The most recent one.
Yeah, where um, Zachary
I
Levi breaks up with his
Psycho
wife and
wife.
just his psycho wife, and I found it disturbing, like an interesting disturbing, not a what the hell are you doing TV show, but just how Molly Walker, spoilers everyone, Molly Walker just shoots herself.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa.
I feel like I didn't watch the original Heroes, but I feel like it wasn't that dark.
It was kind of dark. There were
Yeah,
some
it
dark
was.
moments. Not
Okay.
like that though, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
when who's the guy? I always forget the names of the characters. The guy with the glasses.
Mhm.
The main, basically the main character. When
Yeah.
the daughter of the wife, the daughter of the CEO of the company that used to own Primatech, which is, man, I'm bad at
Mhm.
this. I didn't take notes on this. Sorry, everybody. I didn't take
Yeah.
notes on this. I just sort of brought it up. She's like, oh look, it's the original Bag and Tag man. Like just straight up.
Mhm.
Like he's obviously famous for doing that. He
Yeah.
used to be the one that snatched the Evos off the street and put them in the Primatech paper in the underground
Mhm.
labs to have people do experiments on them for this kind of
Crazy.
technology that is now existing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
the kid that can teleport, love him. He teleports his mom
yeah.
to the hospital. That was good.
Gets himself caught because he's a moron kid.
Yeah, I like the part where he's like, "We're gonna go get this blood from this blood bank," and they do it like in a quick flash too. Like he teleports out, and then they teleport back, and he takes the girl with him that he's interested in.
Hmm.
It's clever, good stuff.
Yeah.
No, man, that show is solid. I'm looking forward to it. Oh, and if you watched all the shorts with the girl before
Hmm.
the show started, she is
Hmm.
finally revealed.
Uh-huh.
So that'll be interesting. And everybody is scared of her. She is the Shadow.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I
that's
gotta
that.
finish watching the shorts.
They're good. They are really good.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
the first few.
Is there anything else you wanted to talk about before we sign off for the evening?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, this has been Geeking Out, our sort of geeky, entertainment-y type podcast that we do on Misdirected Mark Productions. You can catch all the rest of our shows at misdirectedmark.com. The RSS feeds are there. Other than that, my name is Chris. You can catch me at chris at misdirectedmark.com or at misdirectedmark on Twitter or at our G Plus community, which is Misdirected Mark Productions. Jesse, where can people find you on the internet?
Um, Twitter, Jesse_Siegel would probably be the best place to find me.
Very nice. And with that, I will say, keep on geeking on.